Well, good morning. Welcome back to the program. Glad you're with us. It's 8:16 right here in the Northeast Caribbean. And, we're building up to the 45th St. Maarten Heineken Regatta. Next week, this time, it is Thursday. We will be out racing next Thursday. And very excited about that for the first day of racing for the 45th St. Maarten Heineken Regatta, which means this is the last St. Maarten Insights news that matters to you with Emil Lee until after regatta.
After regatta, yeah.
Good morning, Emil.
Good morning. So, Sock, maybe just for our listeners, what can they expect in terms of traffic with the regatta? Do you know?
Busy.
It's going to be bad because the bridge is going to be up for much longer time.
Yeah,
I guess.
we were just under 100 boats. As it will be just over 100 boats that have registered by the time we get to race day. We'll see how many actually end up.
So the regatta starts next week
on Thursday.
Thursday,
okay. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. There will be.
But even actually leading up to that, boats will be kind of pre-arriving, so you'll probably have heavier traffic.
So
anyways,
you can expect longer than usual bridge openings. I would imagine. The several days before, probably starting this weekend through regatta. Now, during the regatta itself, there will be an 8 o'clock outbound bridge opening. And that will be every morning on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And that's to kind of let the committee boats out and the mark boats and everybody go get set up. Then there'll be an 8:30 bridge opening, a 9 o'clock bridge opening. And, then we'll follow the regular schedule. So there's 8:30, a special at 9, then 10:30, then 11:30, and in the afternoon we'll have our normal 2, 4, and 5 bridge openings, but there likely will be a special 3 p.m. Bridge opening, and you should expect that the 8:30 and 9 o'clock bridge openings in the morning, where you will see most of the bridge traffic. It is also possible that the looking real quick, that's 9:30, yeah, right. That the 9:30 bridge. The regular 9:30 bridge could be also have some outbound stragglers. That's usually an inbound bridge, but there could be some outbound.
So you could get some two-way traffic there.
Yeah, it's possible. It's not, And what you should expect is that when the bridge is up, there's just a lot more boats, right? So then the bridge will be up longer.
Exactly. And in the regatta, do the boats stay outside Simpson, or do they actually come back in and go back out every day for the race? What would you expect?
There are historically over the years, when we had a huge bareboat fleet, the bareboats would traditionally moor outside, but over the years, as the bareboat fleet has gotten a lot smaller, after Irma, that we just don't have the number of bareboats in the region that we used to have. The sun sail and mooring fleets are just much smaller. It has really people have come in. They come in at night. People like to be tied up at the dock. They like the amenities that come with being tied up versus being on a hook somewhere, floating.
And then the events are going to be where?
The events are all at Porte Plaisance.
Okay.
And that is where Regatta Village is located. And the village will open. So Wednesday next week is registration for the sailors. Then Village will open. The Regatta Village will open at Porte Plaisance. Of course, they've been our home for the St. Maarten Heineken Regatta for a number of years now. Very grateful for them. Thursday, March 6th, the Village will open in the afternoon. We'll have daily prize giving at 6 p.m. and I will host the daily prize giving both on Thursday. And Living High Band, Bada, Gunslingers, Steel Pan, 20 Montana, DJ Euro will be the entertainment, and Regatta Village is the place to be when you come off the water.
And that'll usually start around what time?
Entertainment starts about 4 in the afternoon.
Okay.
But as soon as you come off the water, the village will be open on Thursday, and just come on over and have some fun. There's lots of food. There's lots of drink. It's for all the entertainment this year is free.
That's good to know.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. All the entertainment is free. You have to pay for your drinks and your food, but it's free to get in. That's Thursday. Friday, March 7th. Same routine. Trilogy is the headliner. Tamilia Royalty, DJ King Kembe, Alona, Melting Pot, DJ Drino, the Hybrid Band, the KRG Band, and Ama Music all on the lineup that night. Prize giving on Friday. Once again, Friday evening, 6 p.m. is the daily prize giving. On Saturday, March 8th, the headliner is Allison Hines, and she has done a lot for women in the Caribbean and huge in the soca world for sure. King James, Kenya Bailey, DJ BB Bad, DJ Stove 3, DJ Classy D, Remo and the Barbed Wire Band, Roxy, the GTO Band, KRG Band, all going to be there. Entertainment once again. Prize giving on Saturday, 6 p.m. Then we get
and the events. How late do they run?
So the headliners are scheduled, and I'm told that we are running on time. This year, and the only thing that could delay things would be if there is a big protest on the water in the sailing world, and things are in deliberation in the jury.
Meaning a dispute about the race outcome,
right?
Not a
no. A protest, a sailing term,
right?
Tell he's not a sailor. But there's something happened on during the course of the race that two boats are protesting each other. Has to go to the jury to be decided, which could affect the outcome of the race, and so therefore that could delay the prize giving, depending on, especially if it's the top three boats that are involved in that protest. So we're planning to run on time. The only thing that will lay us up would be if there were things that got delayed in the jury room. In the protest and or in a protest, potential protest, but the plan is headliners will start at 10 p.m. and we're done by 11:30. Done by midnight is everybody's home by midnight. So we're trying to run early. Then on Sunday that's the big night. Sunday, March 9th, of course, the headliner, the Wailers of Bob Marley, the Bob Marley and the Wailers, the Wailer family will be here. The Wailers will be here. Orange Grove, Malika Maxwell, DJ Outkast, DJ Blaze, Big Lou, Natasha Hansen, DJ Stove 3, the KRG Band. Prize giving, the grand finale prize giving will be on Sunday, March 9th. That will be hosted by Robbie Ferron and myself, as we have for the last, I lost track, it's got to be 5, 6, 7 years. I don't know. We do this together every year now. And that will be at 6 p.m. It will take, if we start on time, I think I have it down to an hour and 43 minutes that we could do the whole. There's a lot of prizes to give out. And there's nothing, and it's the most important thing we do during a regatta. People come to race and they come to win. Prize giving, especially the grand prize giving, very important.
What's the prize, by the way? My son was asking. I couldn't tell.
What is the prize? It's an attaboy. Good job. Congratulations.
And a trophy.
Here's a really nice trophy, and we have lots. And we do, in each class.
So it's bragging rights.
Yeah, it's bragging. And listen, there's a great watch from Seiko that the overall winner will get. So that's super cool. But it's really all about the bragging rights that go with winning, being the overall winner of the St. Maarten Heineken Regatta. So that's kind of the lineup. We're going to have a great time. You're going to come out. So Boomerang Boat Charters is the official regatta radio boat this year. We're doing it a little different than we've done in years past. We're going to have a live studio audience on board. If you would like to be part of the live studio audience for Regatta Radio and really have the best seat on the planet for everything, right at the start line with us and following the race around, go to boomerangsxm.com and we will feed you and water you and you'll have a great time. It's $200 for the day, and I know we have seats available on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, although they are starting to fill up. I was talking to Steph from Boomerang the other day. So boomerangsxm.com, click on the Regatta Experience, and you'll have a ton of fun with us, and you'll get to, live, up close and personal, get to hear the commentary, see the broadcast, or you'll get to hear the broadcast before it even goes out. As it goes out, you'll hear it live.
So I'm going to make a political, governmental suggestion, right? Mm-hmm. So for people who don't go out and get involved in the Heineken and actually see it, and it's been a long time since I've done that, so I'm thinking actually Council of Ministers and maybe even, for example, staff from the tourist bureau, the more you can kind of get them out to actually see for themselves what's involved and what's the impact.
We have a number of visitors that will be joining us.
Okay.
That day on board. That's our plan to do exactly that. Is to invite those that
The decision makers.
that really should see this. And I'm not going to say who's coming when, but I do have a number of ministers, including our prime minister, members of parliament, that are planning to come for the day.
That's great.
And spend time with us, along with a lot.
How
of
about our minister of tourism? Is she?
She has been invited, so we'll see.
Well, I will see her later in the week. I will nudge her along.
Yeah, and our director of tourism, May, is coming. So Mei Ling is coming.
That's super.
Yeah.
So just to sum up from a landlubber's perspective, expect longer bridge openings leading up to the regatta, because as boats are arriving, chances are the bridge will have to stay open a little bit longer.
And then during a regatta, you can expect the usual longer bridge openings. What I tell people is, listen, if you get stuck in traffic, well, put your car in park, lock the car, walk up to the bridge, and watch. It's a pretty cool thing to see.
Right.
And there's a big, as we get into Saturday and Sunday, there's what we call the bridge show, the Serious Fun Bridge Show, and people will dress up in costume, all kinds of craziness, and they'll be scoring and judging of all of the boats.
Oh, yeah?
It's a ton of fun.
You mean the crew dress up in costumes?
Yeah,
that's fun.
Some do, some don't, but it's become part of the serious fun. We call it the Serious Fun Bridge Show.
And then starting from late afternoon into the night, you can expect heavier traffic around Port de Plaisance as people come and go to the event as well.
Exactly.
Right?
And the thing that's nice about Port de Plaisance is there's tons of parking.
Right. There's a lot of parking. Exactly.
So parking at the venue is not really, has never been an issue. There's tons of places.
So just curious, I mean, will you have police, let's say, where you come out from Port de Plaisance onto the main road to help smooth the traffic out?
There's usually assistance all over the place.
That's good.
Yeah.
All right.
So, and to be honest, other than it's heavy traffic, that's not really been. It's really never been a huge issue.
A big issue.
Yeah.
But then people also can expect restaurants in the area to be pretty busy. So make reservations if you're eating. If you're planning to eat out this week.
Well, you know what I tell people is, listen, during high season, always make reservations.
But especially next week.
And if you're gonna make a reservation and you're not gonna keep the reservation, call to cancel it.
Yes,
that's
for sure. That's just
smart.
Common. Actually, that's just being decent.
Yeah, exactly. You should, whether it's regatta or not, but it's just called being a good human being.
Yeah. And I saw on Facebook, my friend Barbara from Palapa Restaurant. Somebody in a Jeep just ran into one of her flower pots in front and then just took off. I mean, come on. Let's just be kind.
Let's just be decent people.
Decent people, exactly.
So, we hope everybody has a great regatta. We hope it turns out to be a lot of fun. I'm excited about the headliner on Sunday night to have the Whalers here. I think that's, the whole Bob Marley movement, is something that really transcends cultures. And reggae is just kind of one of those things that does that. So I think we will appeal to both the sailing community and those of us that are from the Caribbean. Will all appreciate the headliner on Sunday night, especially because we're going to start on time and finish on time, which means you're not up till 3:00 in the morning, like shall we say, in years past.
Yeah.
So that's all good stuff. All good stuff. So that's we're very excited about the regatta. I have to say thank you to all of our friends at the St. Maarten Yacht Club, especially Carrie Byerly, who is the chair of the St. Maarten Heineken Regatta, and I want to also mention Megan Riley, who is the marketing chair and the media head of all of the PR. For regatta. She's done a real spectacular job, and we're looking forward to giving you full coverage. We'll be out Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, full coverage from 7 in the morning till 6 p.m. On Island 92 and Z105.1 FM, and that will go Thursday, Friday, Saturday from 7 in the morning till 6 p.m. On Sunday night, we will start at Sunday morning, we'll start at 7 o'clock, and we will complete the broadcast day just after the grand prize giving on Sunday. So we'll bring that to you live right here on Island 92, along with some backstage video as people interviews
Fun.
that come off,
A lot of
video
fun.
and audio that come off the stage.
And just curious, what's the projection for weather next week? Is it supposed to be
Looking
windy?
looking windy.
Oh, that's good.
Yes, this is good. It's a little too soon to tell.
Okay.
I don't want to make any pronouncements. We'll wait. I usually like to wait to Saturday before to start to look,
Okay.
and because then it becomes real as opposed to fictitious guessing, long term guessing.
Exciting.
Yeah. So
And from an island perspective, I think it's also really good that people know that this is a big injection of money into our local economy. And a lot of the people come early, spend time, and a lot of people hang out afterwards and stay a little bit longer around the island, and all of that's a good boon for our economy.
100 boats, probably support crew of 10 people per boat, including crew and everything. That's 1,000. That's 1,000 people, right?
Yeah.
Right, just there alone. Forget about the people.
They have friends and family
everybody that comes
exactly.
to watch, right?
Exactly.
So you're
and you get media coverage. You get people coming from off island to cover it, and that's exposure for the island. And
for sure. I mean,
super.
This brings. By the time all is said and done, I would guess between 5,000 to 6,000 extra visitors to the island for that short period of time, and that's a big number.
And you had Pedo from Budget here earlier. The amount of money the people spend, sort of tuning up and maintaining their boats to be race ready, that's also a big injection for our marine sector. So,
without a doubt.
That's super.
Without a doubt. Let me do this, Emil. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back. Next up, the Amstel Bright Entertainment Calendar, brought to you by Amstel Bright and us here at Island 92. Stick around. We'll be right back. More St. Martin Insights news that matters to you. Well, good morning and welcome back to the program. Welcome back to Emil Lee, Maarten Insights News that matters to you. So what happened yesterday at the Council of Ministers, or shouldn't I ask?
No, so yesterday it was supposed to be Justice Romy and Tiat, and unfortunately Justice canceled. I can imagine there's a lot happening on the island, so probably something came up. But so we had Romy and we had Tiat.
Mm-hmm.
So a couple things. Yesterday actually was,
And I guess so. VROMI is infrastructure
Yep.
and spatial development and planning, all that stuff.
right, and Tiat is tourism and transport
and economic affairs.
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
So yesterday actually was to the day 3 months since government has taken office.
Mm-hmm.
And so I asked off air because I only get a limited number of questions on the air. Because they promised that they would have their governing program ready 3 months after they swore in. And not yet. So they said it's ready. Actually, they're just fine-tuning it, and they're going to sign it, I guess, over the weekend, and hopefully by next week it'll be ready. And so,
can I? That just feels like really poor timing because let's release something that could be, worthy of discussion when we have the biggest event of the year happening on the island, the St. Maarten Heineken Regatta. So it gets buried in all the other news, and people aren't paying attention. Well, poor form.
So here's the thing. So number one, for the public to understand, you have a coalition that's made up of 4 different political parties. And that means they have really different perspectives, different plans of approach, different priorities, all of that. So the governing program is where the 4 parties have to negotiate with each other and agree on what are the priorities that this government's going to do. So for me, it's a really important document. In the past, governments have made their governing programs and then sort of slid them into a drawer, and then you never hear about it.
Mm-hmm.
And, our approach is very different. We will bring it to every Council of Ministers meeting. And if they make statements or they veer in directions that are not in line with their governing program, we hold them accountable to it. And again, they can always, change gears. They can always reprioritize. But, this is what you're telling the people is your priority. So I think it's a very important document, as are their political manifestos that they had when they came into government. So now, as a journalist, we're going to match their campaign materials against the governing program and see what they gave up. Right? What were things that they said were crucial for the country to move forward, and then if it's not reflected in the governing program, then we're going to call you out on that. So listen, I really hope they took the time to do this right.
And it's fair as you bring different groups together and different priorities together that what makes it to the final cut, everybody's got to negotiate and
you got to compromise
and give a little to get a little.
Sure.
And so it doesn't mean everything's going to be on the table, but you would expect us to see.
So here's the trickier point, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the 4 coalitions have split the different ministries, right, based on their coalitions, right? So the URSM, for example, they have the Prime Minister and VSA, right? The DP has finance and Tiat.
Mm-hmm.
So in the past, what's happened sometimes is, for example, the Minister of Finance and Tiat, because they're one party, they said, we will handle writing our section of the governing program, right? And that's not the way it should be done. So although it's not, let's say, a URSM ministry, URSM still should comment on it and say, no, I don't agree with that. That, our priorities are different and let's compromise. So I hope that they've done that exercise because, in fairness to the people, it should be, whether it's your ministry or not, as a government, you have a collective responsibility and you need to do that together. So I hope they do that.
I agree.
And that should come out next week.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
So Tiat was there and
Vromi.
And Vromi. What did we learn from where do you want to start? Tiat or Vromi?
Well, so Vromi started. So I asked a couple questions. So he made statements that apparently the development at Indigo Bay, the new development, the Villa Ven, is coming out, and apparently an environmental impact study was needed. And what did they find? They found elkhorn coral in the bay, and so they've asked now the developer. It seems sort of day late, dollar short, right? They've done a lot of excavation already, so when they've done that, when they take all the green off, when it rains, all that sediment, a lot of it can run off into the water. Anyway, so they've asked them to do an environmental impact study. And so my question was, okay, is it going to be done by an independent body, and who's going to pay for it? So the developer is going to pay for it, and they're looking for an independent body. Hopefully, I think they said it's going to be out of Holland, because the expertise that they need isn't available locally. So, so it will be interesting. I don't really. I mean, the proper process is you should have done it before.
Well, yeah.
Permits were handed out, and so we'll see what comes out of that. And the other thing is, I asked him, because if you remember, they went with a whole delegation to Aruba to look at the solid waste management process there. But there's actually very little information that's kind of come back out of it in terms of what they found. And so, and even in Aruba, I've done some reading in the news. It wasn't necessarily a very popular or smooth process, but bottom line, and I think people need to start getting accustomed to this. So there's clearly two things that they're going to focus on, and that's reducing the amount of garbage that goes to the dump, which is then recycling. It means, right, they're going to try and pull out paper, cardboard, bottles, glass, metal, aluminums, all those kinds of things, anything that they could sell and reduce what goes to the dump is clearly something that they're looking at. But the other thing is, right now you don't pay anything for somebody to come by and pick up your garbage and take it to the dump. And the direction they're going, and it's a normal direction, but you're going to have to start to pay to have your garbage picked up. Right. And in Aruba, he said it's around 45 guilders. I guess that's per residence per month. Right. And chances are it might be more expensive here. So just, the public needs to start being aware that, this is you get a dump, not a landfill. Right. It's an relatively unmanaged process here. And that in the future here, you're going to probably have to start paying to have your garbage removed. And then it also means that government's going to have to step up, which is something I think they're in general bad at enforcing, because you might then start getting people who illegally dump and just, throw things in places where it shouldn't. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of controls come with the tipping fee or household fee charges, right? So,
without a doubt.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting to see what happens. The other thing that I brought up with the Ministry of Tiat, so that's Ms. Heiliger Maarten. So I actually did my vehicle inspection this week, because you have to get your stickers for your cars renewed soon. I think by the end of this month it's already due, right? So you have to go and pay your fees and renew. And so my inspection sticker was up. So, of course, while I'm there, I'm chatting people, talking to them. And the Minister of Justice has come out and said, window tinting is a safety issue for the police officers.
Right.
Because if the police need to stop a vehicle and the vehicles are heavily tinted and they can't see what's happening inside, that poses a safety risk to police officers. And so when I was at inspection, I was noticing that cars that were tinted were going through the inspection process and coming out and getting their approvals and going. So I asked the minister, I said, I would have thought inspections would fall under justice, but it actually falls under the Ministry of Economic Affairs. So, and apparently there's not the coordination between the two. And so it seems like a real missed opportunity. Now, I know it sounds like a small, and by the way, I also mentioned, I don't know if you notice, a lot of cars have their license plates with like this smoky covered plastic cover, so you
Right.
can't even read the numbers on the license plates, right? So
Yeah.
I can kind of understand, we live in the Caribbean, and you don't, you want to keep your car cool, so they tint the windows. Sometimes they're really just so dark. I don't know how they drive at night, like I don't know how
Yeah.
you can even see
I don't.
what's happening.
I don't understand why you need to tint your license plate.
Right. What I'm saying is, even if you could make a case for why, and apparently people have gone to their doctors, gotten notes from their doctor saying they have a medical condition that requires their cars to be tinted, and then have gotten an exemption from the Ministry of Justice to allow them to tint their cars. I'm like, wow.
That's BS.
I
I'm
didn't
sorry.
realize that's
Wear
even a
sunglasses.
thing.
Wear sunglasses.
Right.
Put your sunglasses on. Come on.
Yeah.
It's just craziness.
And I've also heard, police officers frustrated because they stop somebody, have the tint removed, and the next day the people put the tint back on. And so, but for me, the thing is, if you want to have a law-abiding society, you need to deal with the obvious things.
Right.
So if you just get frustrated and let it go, then that snowballs, I'm afraid, into everything else.
I agree with you, and I don't understand. Listen, I understand that you want to have your car tinted because it keeps the car cooler. Okay, not a problem, but keep it to the limit that is permitted by law. It's that simple.
People tint the front windows. I can't. I
Yeah,
just don't understand how you see anything. So.
I'm not sure why one needs to tint their front windows. I just don't get it.
And especially tinting the plates, the license plates.
What's the reason that the only reason to do that is simply to
so you can't be accountable.
Right.
No one can see you.
That's the whole idea.
So
it's like James Bond with the license plate that spun around, right? I want one of those too.
So hopefully they will try and coordinate between the Ministry of Justice and Economic Affairs, and and especially since the Minister of Justice came out and made a statement and say, look, we're going to have sort of a zero tolerance. This is a safety issue for our police officers, but then do it. I mean,
right.
If you just stand on the road here for 5 minutes and count the number of cars, it's ridiculous. So no one takes you serious. If you want to be held, if you want people to believe that there's law and order, you need to take it seriously. Sort of a disturbing question. So I asked the Minister of TIAT. So, you're a business person, you understand marketing. Even people who understand fashion, right? The summer clothes has been out already, I guess, probably from January, right? You start selling summer clothes in the winter, gearing up towards spring and summer.
You're always 3 to 6 months ahead.
Right. And it's the same thing with marketing for your destination, right? So promoting the shoulder and summer season, actually your advertising should be running now, right?
Yeah.
The people for the winter season, they've already made their plans. They've booked their trips. Of course, you'll get some last minute people who say, oh, gosh, the weather's horrible. Let's just get away, right? But for the most part, people make plans in advance, right? So the marketing for your shoulder season and summer season, which is, in my opinion, actually St. Martin's biggest problem, is after Easter, rates just drop, occupancy drops. And, that's, if we had a better year-round occupancy like Aruba does, like Curaçao's beginning to, like some of the other islands are.
To me, when I look at how things kind of run, we're busy through the end of March.
Right.
April starts to slow down a little bit. We get a little bit of bump for Carnival.
Right.
And then the May and June are very quiet. July, first part of August are okay. We get a little bit of a bump. And then September and October and early can be quiet.
But if you look at the rates,
Mm-hmm.
the prices that people are paying per night,
Mm-hmm.
it's too cheap for an island like this. I mean, I mean, you know it. If you drive just along the highway in Connecticut, you find motels, along a motel along the side of a highway for the price people are paying for rooms here.
Well,
it
here's
doesn't make sense.
here's the other thing, right? That I think we've missed, right? When you cheapen your product, when you lower the price of your product, without necessarily lowering the quality of your product, and that's a whole nother discussion. Um, you then, it's very hard to raise that price back up.
Exactly.
And and I've seen it here at the radio station. Quite frankly, because there was a time when we were in the midst of hurricane recovery and COVID recovery, and I said to all of our clients, "I'll keep you on the air because I need you to be with us, and you need us. We need each other." And we would work out a dramatically reduced price. But at some point in time, I have to have that hard conversation. Says I've got to go back to the normal rate, and it's different for everyone. But it's a hard conversation to have, and it's hard to pull it off. I only have 2 or 3 clients left that are still not where they should be. But but it's a hard thing to do,
Right.
and
the problem with the hotels is you don't get the same caliber of customer saying, "Oh, that's a great deal." You get a different caliber of customers,
right,
and
that aren't spending money in the restaurants, that aren't spending money in the stores, that are here because they can afford the hotel and maybe go to the grocery store and do some shopping.
yeah,
And
exactly.
that's a problem with the quality of our tourism product that we've marketed ourselves.
Right.
My opinion.
And so, if you did a better job marketing the destination, you had more people coming. You wouldn't have people dropping their rates so much just to get ahead in a bid.
Yeah,
So,
I agree.
And last thing,
yep,
they're
we're
working
very close on time.
Yep. The last thing is they're working. The Ministry of TIAT's working on executing a carrying capacity study.
What's that mean?
So basically, it's a study that discusses how much the island can actually accommodate in terms of numbers of cars, people, buildings, what the environment can handle. And I asked whether, and I think this part was off the air, whether she's read the one that the SHTA did in 2004. And this was partially funded by the Dutch government. And sadly, I mean, I've read it. It's, I don't know, 150 pages.
Uh-huh.
Unfortunately, the measures that they've suggested haven't really been implemented. And at that time, and I'll read it, the environmental carrying capacity of St. Maarten can be regarded as on the brink of being exceeded. And this was in 2004. So it hasn't gotten better. So I wonder what's the purpose. I always believe if you're going to ask a question, let's be clear. If the report comes back and says, "Whoa, you guys too much," are you willing to have the hard conversation about some sort of a moratorium on new development? That until you bring up the infrastructure, the numbers need to stay flat for a while and work more on the quality of the tourists versus the number. Number of tourists is a relatively bad indicator as to your economic success.
Agreed.
So we'll see.
Mr. Lee, always nice to see you.
Yeah.
We won't see you next week, but we'll see you on the water.
I will.
You're
going to
come out and join us on. You're coming on what day?
Saturday.
Saturday.
Yeah.
You'll be part of.
Bring my son out with me.
Awesome.
He'll
part of
enjoy
the gang
that.
aboard Boomerang. I'm way late. 8:59. Let me see if I can get ourselves caught up. We'll be right back.